Back in June of 2023, SeaWorld San Diego opened their new roller coaster that unfortunately kind of went unnoticed. No one was really talking about it, and the ride was overshadowed by many other roller coasters that opened in 2023. Dark Coaster was another family launch coaster of this type that opened last year, and I feel that coaster got a ton of attention. Of course, it's located at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, an arguably more popular theme park destination, which might be the main reason for Arctic Rescue's lack of enthusiasm. SeaWorld San Diego is tucked down in the southern part of California, and unlike SeaWorld San Antonio or SeaWorld Orlando, this park is much more geared towards families and younger kids. Well, this review isn't about SeaWorld San Diego, but about its new roller coaster, an attraction that I must say off the bat, really enjoyed. Before we get into this review, please be so kind as to like this video, and if you're new to my channel and love roller coasters, please hit that subscribe button. Presentation. Located inside the Wild Arctic section of the park, Arctic Rescue is tucked in the far corner, and unless you're riding that roller coaster or maybe Emperor, you cannot see this attraction. The ride is surrounded by walls and stays very low to the ground. The station is themed to an Arctic outpost, and for the most part, it does the job well. The trains, which are designed to look like snowmobiles, are the best looking trains in the park. They really sell the story of you being on a mission in the Arctic tasked with saving marine wildlife. The theming during the ride is a little on the lackluster side. Being a park that charges more than $100 for admission, I expect a little bit more out of the theming. Well, it's not like they did nothing. There is a tunnel, a helicopter, and the walls are painted to look like a snow-covered forest. Also, most of the gravel is white, supposed to look like snow or ice. It's not bad, but again, I feel they should have put a little more effort. Now, with that said, the theming is better than Emperor or Electric Eel. Presentation will earn a score of 7, which is a good rating, just not as high as I would have hoped. Ride intensity. I feel dirty including this score on a family coaster, but here we are talking about it. Arctic Rescue starts off with a decent tire launch right out of the station building. After rising up to what might be the highest point of the ride, Arctic Rescue dives close to the ground, performing a bunch of tight S-bends and turnarounds. The coaster stays close to the ground, only ever rising off the surface so it can jump over another section of the track. The second launch travels through a tunnel right into a tight turn to the left. That maneuver provides some of the best laterals of the whole ride. After the turn, the train rises up into another high point, which is probably only like 30 feet, before diving back down into a series of turns. The coaster then works its way over to the third launch, which is where you might hit the max speed possibly for the second time. That launch through the tunnel feels pretty fast as well. After the launch, the ride finishes off with some higher bank turns that lead right into the brake run. Overall, this is not an intense ride, but Arctic Rescue still has a couple tricks up its sleeve. The laterals are fantastic. I love each turn, especially while holding onto the handles, pretending you're driving a snowmobile. Those looking for some strong positives or even airtime will leave a little disappointed. The launches actually have a little oomph to them, but there's really no turn that brings on the positive G-forces. As for airtime, the ride might technically have a couple brief moments of weightlessness, and I do mean brief, but I would argue that this coaster has 0 airtime. Ride intensity will earn a score of 5. It's the 3 launches and good laterals that will get this score to an average rating. Plus, 5 is about the highest I would expect for a family coaster. Fun factor. We knew that Arctic Rescue wasn't going to be an intense ride. I mean, it is a family coaster after all. But just because it's not intense doesn't mean it's not fun either. I had so much fun riding this roller coaster, either holding onto the handlebars, pretending you're riding that snowmobile, or sticking your hands up and letting those laterals toss you around. The ride time is also very long, providing a full ride experience. If only the theming was a little better, I would bump this up into my top 3 family coasters, because this ride is really that fun. But since the theming doesn't fully immerse me in the whole adventure, I'm going to give fun factor a score of 8. So normally I would now talk about the operations, but being the park was really slow the day I visited, the ride was operating with one train, so it's kind of unfair to time the dispatches under those circumstances. I didn't notice anything that would slow down dispatches, and since it was a walk-on, I feel SeaWorld was doing a good job with their operations. Originality. This family launch coaster style by Intamin Amusement Rides first debuted in 2007, but it wasn't until 2017 after Wave Breaker the Rescue Coaster when this model really started to take off. Now it's going strong and more on the way. I can see why parks are flocking to this model. It's a solid family coaster that provides a fun riding experience, being either on a jet ski, snowmobile, four-wheeler, or a motorcycle of some sort. Arctic Rescue has a solid layout that provides some excellent laterals while keeping a tight profile in a smaller piece of land. Being that this model isn't new and starting to get more popular, will ding a couple points, but a score of 8 for originality seems more than fair. Ride smoothness. Arctic Rescue is a butter smooth ride with comfortable seating and lap bar restraint. 10 points for ride smoothness. Alright, the final technical score comes to 7.6, which falls into my good coaster ranking. However, if I rank this on a curve, being a family coaster and all, I would rank it higher, which is exactly what I'm going to do in my personal score, giving this attraction a solid 9 rating. This is, of course, comparing it with other family coasters. I think this is a very solid, fun attraction that I would love to ride multiple times during my visit to the park. The trains are comfortable, the launches are enjoyable, and I can't get enough of those whippy lateral filled maneuvers. This is one of those coasters that you ride just to enjoy, not scary elements or strong forces, just a fun roller coaster experience. So, for those who have yet to ride this roller coaster, is it worth traveling to? Well, if you live in California or within 5 hours, I would say it's worth a visit. For those who haven't been to SeaWorld San Diego, I say this roller coaster complements their decent coaster collection. Right now, I would say it's probably the second best coaster in the park, but I haven't been able to ride Emperor yet because it was closed during my visit. If you're traveling with your family, then I think it's a no-brainer to check this coaster out. This is a crowd pleaser, and everyone in your family will enjoy it. Well, that concludes my review of Arctic Rescue. Until next time, this is Extreme Thrills.